everybody. In this video we will learn about modifiers. So as we see in properties windows, we have a lot of sections, and we will learn the most important sections, and the one of the most important section in Blender is modifiers section. So in modifiers, if we click here, you will see a lot of modifiers here. These modifiers are used for different properties, and modifiers actually modify our object in a non-destructive way. Okay, so if for example we click here, you can see we have different headings here for the modifier, and we have some modifiers like data transfer, mesh, cache, UV or wrap, etc. In generate, we have modifiers like array, bevel, booleans. These are the modifiers in generate section, which are mostly used modifiers. We can add mouse here, and we will extend some other modifiers here like weld, wireframe, volume to mesh, try, triangulate, and subdivision surface, etc. We also have some modifiers here for the armature, etc., and we can actually implement these modifiers outside this section as well. After that, we have physics modifiers like cloth, collection, fluid, ocean, etc., particle systems, etc., which we can also use. So for most commonly used modifiers, we will check that modifiers which are most commonly used in Blender. So first modifier is array modifier, which is which is used again and again in Blender. So for example, if we create some object, like let's create a monkey. If we want to duplicate this monkey, we can press Shift D and we can duplicate it. Okay, but if we want multiple copies, we can go to add modifier array, and then we can increase the count of the array. It will array our monkey to x-axis by default, and here you can see the factor of x-axis. You can increase this factor. We can also add a factor to y-axis or z-axis as well if you want to do so. It's up to you and whatever you want to achieve. Okay, and we have a relative offset. We can actually add the constant offset as well if you want to add it to the constant offset. Okay, like this. And if we also have the object offset. So object offset is also very important. So for example, if we move this object like maybe here, and if we create another object here, Control A, empty, and we can create a sphere maybe here in the middle, and we want to modify this array this monkey relative to this object, then what we can do, we can go to object offset. Okay, and we will just disable this relative offset, select the object offset, select this, and then we will click on this object. So now what will happen, it will be arrayed according to this sphere. Okay, this object. So now it is very useful if we select this sphere, and if we select the rotate tool, and if we rotate it, you can see that our monkeys are rotated like this. Okay, and around this circular sphere, and we can at any time we can select the monkeys, and we can increase the numbers of counts, etc., like this. Okay, and also we can increase the we can actually rotate it like this as well, maybe. Okay, to create these type of effects as per our needs. So array modifier is very useful, and usually it is used for duplicating objects in an array. So it's also very useful modifier. So one more very important modifier which which used again and again is this mirror bevel modifier as well. So if we for example this is the plane, and if we let's go to edit mode and E and Z maybe. Okay, let's create this type of shape which is box actually, and if we apply this bevel, you can see we have a bevel like this, and we can increase the segments of the bevel as well. Okay, and now you can see the corners are beveled down. Definitely we have a shortcut for bevel. So if we press if we are in edit mode, and if we select any section, for example let's select this loop, and we can press Ctrl B to bevel, and then we can bevel it, and we can increase the segments and the overall width as well. Okay, so now you will see that we have this type of shape here. We have a bevel amount. Similarly, we have some more modifiers as well, like Boolean, which is very important modifier for subtracting or adding some objects. So for example, we have a object here, and if we have another object here, maybe like this, and then we can just select the Boolean modifier, and now you can see we have the object, and we have a union, difference, or intersect, these three options. So for example, we can go to union, and we can select this section, and we can click here, and now you will see that these both objects will be unioned. Okay, like this. This is also very useful modifier. Similarly, we have some other important modifiers like build modifier. We'll not see every modifier, because some modifiers we don't want to do so. Anyhow, we can use the build modifier as well, and you can see that if when we click the build modifier, you can see our Similarly, we have some other modifiers as well, but we will not explain every modifier, but the most commonly used modifiers. So array modifier we will use again and again, bevel, and also we will use again and again mirror modifiers. So if we go to edit mode, and if we, for example, move it to this side, and if we mirror it we will just get a mirror object here to the x-axis, and we can just move it like this, and we can also clip it if we want to do so. And there are a lot of options related to mirror. We can mirror it to y-axis, z-axis, like this, and we have different options. Usually we use the mirror to the x-axis always. So now we also have an important modifier which is solidify. This is used for the usually if we have some plane, and if we move this plane to the some game engine like Unreal or Unity, it will render only one side of the plane. Okay, although you can see that in Blender we can see both the sides, but in Unity we will only see the one side, because back face culling is enabled in Unity game engine. So whenever we create something with plane, we have to add the solidify modifier, so it will make it solid, and we can see now the both sides, and we can add the thickness of the solidify modifier. Similarly, we have some other modifiers like we have a screw modifier, skin modifier. These are also very nice modifiers. So for example, if we have something, let's create a maybe a maybe a path, maybe. Okay, this is a straight path, and now we can select this in edit mode, and let's select this and G, and let's move it like this. And if we apply screw modifier, let's see what will happen. So if we go to screw modifier, you can see this is the result. Okay, and also we have the angle, 360 angle. You can see this type of cup type shape now, because it rotates itself to 360 and it created this screw of 360. Although we can just change these steps to create a screw like shape, like type shape like this. Okay, you can see now we have this type of shape, and this modifier is also very useful for certain possibilities. We also have the skin modifier. So for example, if we have a object, let's suppose a cube, and we can go to edit mode and vertices, and we can right click and we can merge vertices at center, and now you can see we have only one object here, only one vertex here, and we can just click on skin modifier and it will give us the cube as well. Although this cube has not 4 vertices, it has only one vertex. Okay, only one vertex. So we can apply subdivision surface modifier on this. And now what is the benefit of this modifier is that if we press E and extrude it, you can see that we can by pressing E and extrusion, we can create any type of shape like this very easily. Okay, you can see very nice modifier. Okay, so like this. So you can see that it's also very useful modifier, and we can create some characters or any other complicated shape with this screw modifier. And the most important modifier is the subdivision surface modifier, which we will use again and again and again and again. So this is the subdivision surface. So actually here you can see that if we go to edit mode, you can see that our cube has 6 sides, 1 2 3 4 5 6 sides. Okay, and it has very low loops. So it has these vertices 1 2 3 4 like this, 4 and 4, 8 vertices only, and it has also very lesser loops. Okay, these loops are also very small. It also has lower polygons. If we want to increase the quality of cube, we can add a subdivision surface modifier. When we will add subdivision surface, you can see that we have this type of shape now. If we press tab, you can see this is the result of that cube. That cube is converted to the circular shape almost. If we increase the subdivision surface, it will increase the polygons. Okay, and let's increase it more. You can see it's quite equal to the circle now. And if we right click and add shade smooth, you can see it's quite like a circle, sorry, like a sphere. Okay, so this is very nice and very important tool, subdivision surface, which we use again and again. One more important thing is, at any point we want to modify this, for example shape. If we click on edit, you can see that we are in edit mode, and we can see the basic cube sections as well, because we didn't have applied this modifier yet. So if we move this, for example, let's move it like this and like this, and now you can see we have this type of shape. Okay, just like an egg. And if we apply this modifier in object mode, now if we go to tab, you can see it has lot of vertices and lot of polygons. Okay, So this is a very nice modifier. And one more modifier which is very important is this demesh modifier. Sometime actually whenever we create some models in blenders, the mesh become too messy. Okay, so the object has lot of vertices and lot of small and small vertices. So for example, let's select this one, and if we apply a subdivision surface again on this object, and let's add it here, and let's apply this, and again subdivision surface, and then again we will add, and you can see now it has very much, that's why it's responds lately. So now if we press tab, you will see it will have too much polygons here. I hope so. Let's see. Oh, you can see, oh, too much. So if we select this section, you can see too much vertices. Okay, and fixing these vertices by these vertices, this model is very high poly and it's very RAM consuming. So for demeshing, we can go to we can just go to object mode again, and we can go to modifiers, and we can again go to decimate modifier, and in this modifier we can select on subdivision. Okay, and we can increase the iterations. So here you can see we will increase the iterations, and here you can see the number of face counts, and if we will increase the iterations, it will make lesser face counts. Again we will click here, and we can decrease the polygons again. So here you can see, so this is also very useful modifier in certain cases, but definitely it will lose the consistency and the overall shape of the polygons, and it's not a better practice to decimate your object. It's better to keep your object as low poly as you can, so that you will your RAM should not be consumed too much. So you can see we can increase these iterations, and you can see face count is now lower. You can just apply it, and now if you will press edit, you will see that the vertices will be lesser than before. So you can see it's very heavy. That's why Blender is taking time, because we have increased polygons too much. So now if we go to edit, you can see although these polygons, now you can see vertices are quite simple, and we can decimate it again as well if you want to do so. So now we can decimate it again to something very lower. So let's make it maybe small. Let's make it till 7. Okay, and then we will just apply it, and now you will see very nice result again. Okay, and you can see the overall result is not very bad, although you can see some polygons are bigger, some are smaller, but although the overall concept and overall stretch is quite good. Okay, so these are some modifiers which we will use again and again in Blender, and definitely we have much more modifiers here as well, but we will learn that modifiers throughout the course, and where we will use that modifiers, we will learn a little bit about that modifiers as well. That's it for the modifier sections. In next section we will model our robot character, and we'll learn about basic modeling from cubes.